Hi there. So I'm kind of piggybacking off of the reading I just posted, so you should check that out. It's just a quick reading before you watch this. And I want to just give a disclaimer here. I'm going to be talking about the movie Longlegs, and I'm not going to be talking about the whole thing, but it's going to be spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it and want to see it, maybe don't watch this video. It's just kind of like something that I picked up on in the movie that through my own lens that I wanted to share. And it's about programming. Okay, that's what I was talking about in my last video. So just a quick kind of thing from the movie. So Nicolas Cage is like this serial killer, even though, he doesn't really get his hands dirty much. And he creates these like dolls. Actually, this is a big part of the movie, like, that you don't know. So, big spoiler. But he creates these dolls, and they're of children, and they were all female children from what I could see. I don't remember them saying anything about male children, male children. Sorry. Anyway, the dolls had this like silver brain, okay? Like it was in their head. And if for however you did it, you opened up the brain and the smoke came out of it, then the adult version, the child that did grow up into an adult, would kind of gain consciousness back, okay? And I was like, wow, that is a wild concept, but kind of true, right? I feel like as children, we are so impressionable to the people around us, right? Especially our parents. And it's not to dig on my parents, your parents, anybody's parents, but, I got chills. We kind of base our whole life in who we are. Like a lot of what makes up who we are is by our parents' beliefs, standards, ideals, their own patterns, their own trauma, like those kind of things just get passed down to us, right? Or we just kind of embody them a lot of times. And now not every child does do that. Not every child does kind of, some children march to the beat of their own drum and they're just kind of, pave their own way, right? But, I think, there's a hawk. Wow. I think a lot of us kind of end up in the programming where we lose a lot of what our makeup, like who we are. And we go about life with this idea of what we should look like and because of what our parents kind of taught us. And not all of it is, a lot of it's good, right? Not all of it's bad. But then, there comes a point in our life when we get older where we have to say, okay, what do I actually agree with and what don't I agree with? And how do I unprogram myself to, from repeating the cycle or doing the same thing or pattern or whatever. Like for me, I'm going to give an example. And again, I love my parents. I'm not digging them. This is just something I picked up on and that I created it within myself. So my dad was always very, he had a very strong idea of what respect was, what morals were, how you talk to adults, always say hi, please, thank you, all that, the whole shebang, which in turn kind of created this like idea for me where if I step out of line or if I do anything that's out of this idea that I'm wrong or that I'm bad or that whatever, right? So that's something I've had to try to unprogram, and not to say like I am a respectful person and I will continue to say please and thank you and whatever else, but I've learned boundaries because I used to allow way too many people access to me because of that, right? That didn't deserve access. So now I'm very mindful about who has access to me, so thank God for that. But I feel like that hawk keeps on flying around. I feel like a lot of us do that where we don't know how to find a way to decide what we think. You know, we just go what we were taught, and that's a generational. That's what I mean. It's like our parents learned that from their parents learned that from their parents, and so on and so forth. But like our generation is meant to kind of break out of that mold and that idea of like, yeah, you can still honor your parents and your traditions and like what they believe if it honors what you believe and how you feel, and you're still a good person on the inside, right? So, you know, I've been working very, very hard for a long time to kind of change my mind on how I show up in the world, because I know I'm a good person and I do my best, and I'm way too critical of myself, and I'm tired of doing that, and I just want to have fun and relax and have a good time, and you know, do good things in the world, right? So I'm sharing all this to tell you that you can change your mind. It's really hard to do, but you can change your mind on what you believe. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not dishonoring the people you love by doing that, right? You're just paving your own way. You know what I'm saying? And the very interesting thing as I'm talking about this, like thinking about who I am as a person, who I've always been very different. And I feel like I've been saying that my whole life, but just for most of my life, I've kind of blended in, or, you know, just kind of was who I thought people wanted me to be, you know, and wasn't trying to be different. And now it's like I'm honoring the fact that I'm different and that I have a different mind, and that I'm, you know, trying to think for myself and pave my own way. And that's really cool. And I hope this reaches whoever it needs to for you to understand that you don't have to be part of the program. You know, you can break free of it and still honor your family and love them, and you know, understand that everybody is different and we all have our different ways of being and thinking, and that is perfectly okay. Hope this helps.